Whoa! And that's a choppy ass intro there for you guys, but
Yeah,
you know, you know how it goes.
guys, it does happen from time to time. I will say that. But I will say this also. That intro has a song on it called "Damn Baby" from Swam by Swam. He's having his EP release party tonight. I couldn't go because I'm here with all of you beautiful people.
What a guy.
So, I mean, there's a couple other things that came up too that prevented me from going, but it wasn't because I wasn't vaccinated. That wasn't a reason. But I did have some prior obligations. So, super excited for him. But definitely check out his music, "Damn Baby" by Swamp. It'll change your life for the better. So, but guys, I'm gonna be honest, Nick. Are you happy to be back? Because I know I'm happy to be back.
I'm very excited. It's pretty awesome to be back
Yeah,
on here. You know, doing our thing.
for sure. Yeah, we had to take a couple of weeks off for the people at home. They were wondering. I was getting asked left and right. My DMs were filling up. Like, guys, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I just had to let them know. Hey, we got to take care of some business. About 8-10 years in the making. But Nick last weekend, 2 weekends ago, whatever weekend it was, he handled his business like a boss. Yeah, sign that jewelry, baby.
It's true.
Beautiful. Yeah, Nick got married. Congratulations to him. Beautiful ceremony. If you weren't there, you definitely missed out because it was phenomenal.
It was. It really was.
Phenomenal. Best wedding I've ever been to. Everyone's saying, hey, please be quiet. And yeah, so sorry, just a little background noise. My producer here is just trying to bark something in real quick. And
that's what he does.
So guys, we're getting really close to the NFL season.
Yeah, man.
It's like
it's
like 10 days away, essentially.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more excited, man. I think tomorrow is 9 days. Man. I think, yeah.
Okay.
So
that is awesome.
We're almost at single digits.
Yeah. So we got a couple of games, that Monday evening football games that we got to get through. We got a preview for the people at home so they know what to expect. When we're calling these games and they're watching us,
of course,
instead of just the ESPN broadcast. And you know what? I'm just going to put it out there now too, Nick. When Peyton and Eli, they do their thing on Monday night, don't give a fuck. We're still going to be better than them, and our numbers are going to put them to shame.
No doubt.
Right?
Of course.
It's they're witty, they're funny. They've got a couple Super Bowl rings between the two of them.
Of
but
course.
You know what they don't got?
Heart of a lion.
A heart of a lion, because they're human. That's why. So I'm glad you said something, because I was drawing a blank on what they didn't have.
Yeah, no, they don't.
No, but they do have. They are gonna. I'll tell you right now, they're gonna do some incredible numbers. Probably it's gonna be phenomenal. Sure. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna be dabbling in back and forth between that broadcast and ours.
I mean,
we're just gonna be. Yeah, for sure. You got to know what's going on. But definitely proving a little bit of a concept for us. I will say that over here at Fancast TV, Monday Evening Football. So that is very exciting. But Nick, let's get into it. I think we left off at Week 12. We did the Washington football team against the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
And we previewed the Seahawks before, so I think we'll just kind of get into them a little bit for this Week 12 matchup. Seattle Seahawks, obviously, we know Russell Wilson. He's he's got a little more control, a little more in charge this year.
Yep.
DK Metcalf is still as probably phenomenal as ever. Just an absolute monster of a human being out there playing football. You got good old Pete chewing gum Carroll, on the sideline calling them plays.
Is that what they call him?
I think so.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I've heard it.
So. You ever see him on the sideline smacking his gum?
I've heard it. He goes hard. The jaw, the jaw of a lion, maybe. I don't know about the heart.
I wonder what type of gum he chews on game day.
Oh man, it's probably.
You think you would get a sponsorship for I
don't know,
your favorite gum after a while.
I also
don't know what type of gum holds up to that chomping ability that he has. But I know the Seattle Seahawks are chomping at the bit, definitely for the Week 12 matchup against the Washington football team. But guys, we did preview the Seattle Seahawks in an earlier episode of Monday Evening Football Preview.
Yep.
And hang on here, just saying. Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna. My dog is right here, and he almost just knocked over the camera equipment. We just almost had a catastrophe, but no, we're good. Because he can kind of be like a bull in a china shop.
Oh yeah,
very much.
Yep.
Like Chase Young for the Washington football team at defensive end, who is a guy that's actually probably getting some star power, Nick.
Yep.
Would you not say?
For sure, Washington football team. I mean, at the end of the day, that defense very well may be the best defense in the league, and I don't think that's. I mean, that's not controversial. I mean, this is a phenomenal defense. Has been for a while. You got a defensive-oriented head coach there in Ron Rivera, and at the end of the day, this is a team that the defense is lucky because they don't go as Chase Young goes, right? It's not like he's the only good defensive player that they have. He might be a notable, but this is a very solid defense, and I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, Chase Young is an absolute disruptor on the football field, and that's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, and I'd be interested to see what the football team does on the offensive side of the ball. You got a guy like Ryan Fitzmagic, at quarterback. And you got Scary Terry out on wide receiver. And, to me, when you're looking at it, it kind of just looks like you mainly have those two guys. And, I mean, you got, Curtis Samuel, who's, solid. He's solid, make some grabs. But I'm going to be interested to see how the Washington football team plays early on in the season. Especially with that offense. Because, you got Taylor Hinkle.
Yeah, Hennicle. I think that is
second string quarterback. Is it? Maybe because we got a far favor situation going on over here.
Very well could be.
Yeah,
pan. But I do think,
pan. So it's I think it's it's going to be interesting to see how they come together on offense. But I think they're going to make some strides from last year, build off that. I mean, you got a guy who's a veteran like Ryan Fitzpatrick back there, who seemingly has been screwed over a lot. Not screwed over, but he just had
I understand.
The dice come up not the way he wants.
Right.
So, but also a guy that when he is on the field, he is making a lot of great teams. So I'll see what happens in that game. But Nick, what do you got a little prediction for the Seattle versus the football team?
So it's interesting. I think this is actually going to be a great game. I think this will be an underrated game. I think this is a phenomenal matchup in the NFC, right? Because you could argue you don't know what's going to happen in the NFC East, and the way I see it is Washington could be right there. Washington could absolutely be in the mix with the type of defense they have. Now I agree with you. I think that offense is going to be rough. I think it's hard. But in that division, you all of a sudden you get 6 wins and you start to feel like, well, we got a good shot to make the playoffs here. So the reality is, at the end of the day, I think this is a phenomenal game. There's probably 2 teams that are solid teams, hopefully fighting in their divisions, though, in fairness, I don't know that this game is going to have a ton of playoff implications. I think it'll be a good game. I think it's close. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go Seattle Seahawks win this game 27-24. A damn close game.
Nice.
But I think at the end of the day, that's where we're at.
Yeah. I I have to agree with you, Nick. I think, I'm right there with you, maybe a couple points here or there. But I think it's going to be a close one. But I do think the Seattle Seahawks do take it to a Washington football team that is sort of figuring some things out. But I do think Fitzmagic, if he's still in at that point, he's running off with the horses, and he's definitely going to be scoring 2 touchdowns that game, I would say.
Yep.
One running, one passing. Put it on your sports book, Barstool, FanDuel, the other ones, DraftKings, even some of the lesser known ones too. But that is what I think. As far as my player prediction for that game, Week 12 matchup. But I think if you look right behind me, you'll see Niagara Falls, which leads us into our Week 13 matchup, which is the Buffalo Bills. No, it's not Niagara Falls, but it looks close enough. But I was hoping it was small enough you wouldn't be able to tell. But the Buffalonian Bills versus the New England Patriots for a Week 13 matchup. Thank you, Nick, for screwing up my transition. Oh,
well, it works. It works still, but I don't. I heard you say it, and I was like, just had to let him know.
I'm a peacock, man. You gotta let me fly.
Hey, I will all day. The Buffalo Bills. Look, at the end of the day, this is a team we've already covered. We both like them. They got a matchup against the Tennessee Titans earlier in the season on Monday Night Football. Going to be solid. I think we both love the Buffalo Bills. Also, this is going to be a phenomenal game. I can see why they would put it late in the year. I mean, it's going to have playoff implications. Absolutely. Belichick and
rivalry.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is in the division. It's going to be weather's going to be a factor. Let me look here. We're looking at yeah. I mean, this is December 6th in Buffalo. Weather's absolutely a factor. This is just going to be a great game. This is a football game if I have ever seen one. Sure. I can't wait to see it. Yeah.
And I actually got a little chance to see the Buffalo Bills in person.
How was that?
Actually played the Bears. It was phenomenal. It was the best thing ever, Nick. As a Packers fan, it was glorious. Mitchell Trubisky just carving up the Bears.
You know how he does.
Carving them up. And then, threw a touchdown to our guy who used to be a Packer. His name was in the headlines a lot, Jake Kumeroff.
Yeah.
And it was a little Mitch to Jake action. It was great. But I did see a lot of good things coming out of, from the Buffalo Bills. And I think if you watch their last preseason game against the Packers, now they had all their starters out full tilt. Josh Allen was looking good. Micah Hyde, former Packer, got an interception there.
Nice.
And so those guys are looking very good coming into the season. And like you said, this game, it's going to have some playoff implications because both these teams, you have a retooled New England Patriots team versus a phenomenal Buffalo Bills. Like, this is like the matchup as a Bills fan you always wanted to have over the last dynasty of the New England Patriots. You never really had that team that really could play against the Tom Brady, the Gronk, So it's nice to have a team that now you're the team in your division. You've retooled, you've gotten everything, and now it's time to go beat up on the Patriots a little bit.
Got to.
If you are the Bills. But that being said, Nick, I mean, it's not like the Patriots is going to roll over. I mean, they made some key accusations, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, they got Nelson Aguilar, and his mishaps. Cam Newton, and then Mac Jones, who's been looking phenomenal as well in the preseason. So for me, it'll be very interesting to see, is Cam Newton still going to be the starter, or Week 13 this game is.
Right.
Is Cam Newton going to be the starter for this game, or is a young Mac maybe get a shot early on in the season, then, kind of like, the guy did down in Los Angeles Chargers. What's his name?
Oh, good old Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. I always forget his name. Yeah, maybe he takes his opportunity and never looks back. Potentially Wally Pippen, Cam Newton much like Tyrod Taylor got Wally pipped.
Hey,
But
that'll
yeah,
happen.
it will happen. So it's definitely interesting. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm just looking right now. I mean, you got some. I tell you what, for the New England Patriots having like one bad year, they definitely came back around and just like, yeah, let's go. You're
Yo,
not
for
touching
sure.
us
Oh yeah, for sure.
potentially.
Most of the defense sat out last year with the COVID opt
Oh,
out.
that's right.
Yeah, so they this is
So
gonna be an entirely different team. This is going to be a very good football team. Um, I think, yeah, man, this is gonna be a good. It's hard. We haven't talked about the Patriots yet, and I think everyone should be a little bit concerned in the AFC. I really do. I think everybody should
yeah,
realize like this is not what we saw last year. Like this is
yeah,
a different thing. And like at the end of the day, like someone's gonna figure out what's going on in Kansas City and how to stop that. What's going on in Buffalo,
yeah,
how to stop that. If someone's gonna figure out how to stop what the Titans have, it's gonna be that guy in Foxborough. And so I don't know, man. It's gonna be fun. It'll be fun to see the Patriots like for the first time on that Monday night. Like at least
yeah.
on the stream. But man, as for dude, it just makes me think of the prediction, and it's like I don't know. It's in Buffalo, so I think the Bills win. It's in Buffalo,
yeah,
but I could legitimately see the weather's probably a factor. I could honestly see like 21-20,
mm,
like a
yeah.
snowy, low scoring 21-20 Bills win.
Yeah, I think it. I think it will have like a sort of low score for. I think the Bills are going to be able to hold the Patriots to like a 21 points,
Hmm.
but I think the Bills are going to be able to put up. I think they're going to have 30 points.
Oh, there we go.
So 30-21. I think you know, with the way Josh Allen throws the ball and just seemingly can get out of the pocket and move. If it is one of those games where weather is a factor,
Yep.
his mobility and able to get out of the pocket, and I think you know, I think that Buffalo Bills team is too good right now. You got Devin Singletary in the backfield, just pretty great wide receiving core. Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, if he's playing by that time of year, with everything that he's getting himself into,
It's
we
true.
don't know.
It's hard to know.
Hopefully he, he's still contributing to the Bills, and because he's a guy that can contribute and can contribute well. I'll be interested to see what happens with the Cole Beasley saga, and then Stephon Diggs too. Like that receiving core is very very strong,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
very very strong.
No doubt.
You know, and so yeah, I do think that yeah, I would say 30-21 that game. And then I have Devin Singletary running for 78 yards and a
78.
touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep, but he's also catching 48 yards receiving out of the backfield
Okay.
for another touchdown.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's having a 2 touchdown games. Yeah, 2 touchdown games. So definitely book that. Take it to the bank or your favorite sports book.
You
It could
got
be
to.
Barstool. It could be FanDuel. It could be DraftKings. It could be one of the smaller guys. We don't know because none of
Yahoo.
them have
Maybe
picked us up
Yahoo.
yet. Maybe Yahoo. It could be that one that's in
Oh,
overseas
it's
that
Tony.
would steal your money.
Oh, I thought you meant downtown.
Yeah.
Overseas though, yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Bitcoin, you gotta use
you know
Bitcoin. Yep,
for
it could
sure.
be. Either way though,
So
bet Devin Singletary. I'm with you, Scott. I'm with you.
yes,
I think
yeah, star studded.
at the end of the day,
Oh, not really,
that's
but he's gonna have a star studded game.
that's gonna be a fun one. I look forward to that one. I look forward to the
Yeah,
Bills Patriots Monday night. I think that's gonna be a fun one. You know, and then
yeah, and then we're moving right along. I mean, I know you couldn't see the beach right there, the Los Angeles beach,
it's
and
what it is.
you see see some of those Rams underneath that fog.
It's the truth.
And that takes us to week 14. And now we're looking at the Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. And Nick, I mean, it's kind of funny how this worked out. I know me and you talked about this before the show, but with these week 12 to 17 games, we've essentially covered one team out of the two in each and every game, which is
Of course.
pretty exciting to see some of these teams, getting more than one Monday Night Football. And the teams that are getting the more than one Monday Night Football game, they're good teams. So it's exciting to have them on this stage, having us call it, potentially Eli and Peyton. But even if they do, no one's going to know about it because of us.
Yeah. Well.
So, so let's get into it. Sean McVay and the Rams, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. Is Matthew Stafford going to just throw for like 9 million yards?
I mean, this season he very well might. I think at the end of the day, this is the one guy that I think the entire NFL's eyes are on. I think is Matthew Stafford. I think everyone wants to see what he can do in Los Angeles, and so yeah, man. By this point in the season, this could be the MVP. By this point in the season, this team could be undefeated. I mean, this is a serious team. Like at the end of the day,
undefeated.
I'm saying it. I think by let's see, what week are we in? Week 14. So they played 13, but the bye week they've played 12 games, 12-0. The division's tough. The division is very tough, and I'm sure the schedule is so-so.
Let's see here. We got.
All right.
Let's go. I'm just gonna run through it real quick for you. Bears week 1.
Stafford killing him, of course, obviously. I mean, come on. We're talking about this is Stafford playing well too. We were just talking about like an MVP level Stafford.
Yeah. Colts week 2. They should probably be able to pull that one out. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that'll be a tough one.
Yep.
They do play the Arizona Cardinals week 4.
Okay.
Seattle Seahawks week 5.
Okay.
New York Giants.
Yep.
Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Is he back in Detroit? No, they're in Los Angeles. Houston Texans. Tennessee Titans. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
San Francisco 49ers. The week 12 matchup against the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even think about that.
And that's in Green Bay.
Yeah,
that's in Green Bay. So,
that could be the first loss. Now that I'm here, those other games are all possibly wins. If he's playing at an MVP level.
Yeah. I would say the two teams are probably going to struggle with the most until they get to the Packers is probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
And I would say the Tennessee Titans.
Titans will be tough.
Yeah.
So let's say
I think those two teams.
I mean, even if he splits them, even if he lost to the Packers and one of them, I mean, this could be a 10-2 team by the time we see him or 9-2 by the time we see him on Monday Night Football. I mean, this could be a Matt Stafford that could be an MVP candidate by this point in the season.
Yes.
I think the sky is the limit for the Rams. I think this is an interesting division matchup though against the Cardinals at the end of the day, right? And I think once again they're going to go. We've said this before. They're probably going to go as Stafford goes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if Stafford's having an MVP caliber year, they're probably 1 or 2 losses heading into this game.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Especially because didn't they have some injuries? Was it them that had some injuries at running back?
The Ravens
they got
just had an injury.
Henderson. I don't know. I can't remember.
This is a good team. A very good defense.
Yeah, they got a lot of
in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. This is a serious team.
Yeah, this will be a fun one to watch that week. But once again, I think they played the 49ers in week 10. So we'll see them there a little bit with the, a couple weeks before the Arizona Cardinals. But, man, the Arizona Cardinals, talk about a team that's made some moves this offseason. I mean, you get a guy like J.J. Watt.
Yep.
Trade for a guy like A.J. Green. Just all things that ideally help your quarterback,
Kyler
Murray, and, get him off to a great start. You're going to have J.J. Watt, who, to be honest, from interviews that I've seen with him this year, he's looking to let people know, like, no, I'm still a guy.
Absolutely.
I am still a dude.
Absolutely.
I'm still here. I still bring, like, my big mechanical, bionicle arm, and I'm just going to be
no doubt
just knocking footballs out of quarterbacks' hands.
No doubt.
No big deal.
I mean,
so
if he,
and then
if he'll just stop getting hurt, I guess like
yeah,
we'll find out.
Yeah.
It's like you can tell me you're gonna be here, but be here then.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like you know, I believe he's still here. I believe he can still do it, but he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, he does. He does have to stay healthy. But then, you know, a guy that I hadn't even mentioned yet, you know, top 2 wide receiver and not one, DeAndre Hopkins, you know.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It's
what he says.
See what I did there?
It's what he says.
No, I said top 2 wide receiver and not one.
Oh, yeah, see. Yeah, because he probably 2.
Yeah.
I'll give him 2.
I'll give him 2 too. Any day of the week. But we all know who number 1 is. But that's for a different time. But then also, you know, at safety, you got Budda Baker, you know, Malcolm Butler at cornerback.
Yep.
They got Chandler Jones, outside linebacker. Yeah, this team is I'll be interested to see what this team does, you know, and this is their second year under Cliff Kingsbury. Is that
third, I think?
In my career, third. So, you know, start getting some things really gelling together.
Yep.
Added some pieces to help out your team. Because the Arizona Cardinals last year was a team that just kind of never lived up to expectations, you know? Like you'd have Kyler Murray, like, throwing touchdowns, like, and they had a good team.
Yeah.
But just never really was able to get over that hump. So I'd be interested to see, like, where they're sitting by this time during the season with their record.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me just do. I just want to do a real quick schedule look. Cowboys, Chiefs, Titans. Holy cow! Saints. What is that? That was a preseason game. Titans, Vikings, Jaguars, Rams, 49ers, Browns, Packers, 49ers, Panthers, Seahawks. Yeah, so they're gonna have some tough games in there.
For sure.
Getting up to this Los Angeles Rams game. So, you know, I think they might be a middle of the road team.
Right.
But, you know, looking at the back half of their schedule, Lions, Colts, Cowboys, Seahawks. So I think it'll you know, by the time we get to this game, I think we'll really know if the Arizona Cardinals had really found that extra gear that they needed.
Yep.
Or if they haven't. And if they haven't, I don't know if I can see them beating the Los Angeles Rams and that star-studded team that they have.
Yep.
But if they have found it, that extra gear, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think it'd probably be like a 34-24 game, but the Los Angeles Rams are probably going to take it.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. I think a lot of points get scored. I think at the end of the day, the Rams are too much. You know, I'm thinking 35-27. Rams as well, though. Definitely the Rams.
Yeah.
Put up some numbers in that game. 35-27 to me feels spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And I think if we're looking for this game, DeAndre Hopkins, he'll have 130 yards and a touchdown. So take that to the bank.
There we go.
But Nick, I don't know if you saw this Nova Scotia right behind me.
Of course.
And I know you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about them Vikings.
You got to.
And the Bears.
You got
to. Our I believe now we're into week 15 already.
Look at us. We're cooking. Yep.
We're cooking.
You know, I think if you're familiar with the show, you've heard us talk about the Bears a lot. And you know how we feel as Packers fans. You know how we feel about the Bears. And you know, I'm honestly at this point, you know what? I'm not giving the Bears the time of the day. It's almost football season. You've seen what we said about them before. Go check out that episode.
Yep.
You know, I would say we feel generally the same way. Though, in fairness, what I will give them is Justin Fields not looking bad this preseason.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Yep.
Andy Dalton. We'll see.
And that was something we said from the beginning, that they probably got a guy in Justin Fields. We're not here to just completely. We're gonna shoot it straight, kinda.
For
But
sure.
like, yeah, you got a guy in Justin Fields. Now,
Yep.
are the Bears going to mismanage that situation and end up screwing it all up? That's potential. There's potential for that, but I don't know if we'll see Justin Fields. I imagine we do see him at this time of the year, right?
Yep.
He's got to be the starting quarterback for the Bears at that point.
Yeah, I think that's the only that's probably the Bears storyline at this
Yep.
point in the season. It's
Yeah. And
probably who's the starter? Is it,
yeah. And if he's not, that means Andy Dalton's playing lights out, like
Yeah,
but
the thing is if he's not, they're doing well, right? Like that's the
yeah.
weird part. Like,
Yeah,
cause
right.
well, here's the thing though, it depends. How long do they take with Andy Dalton? Because if you let Andy Dalton struggle through the first 7 weeks before you really change, it's like by the time we get here, maybe you've got a chance to be kind of like, oh, they look okay under Justin. If Andy Dalton
Yeah.
plays 4 games and then you make the move, by this point, this could be maybe Fields is lighting it. Maybe he's rookie of the year offensively. He's
Yeah.
killing it. But the problem
Yeah.
is like if you kind of go back and forth a little, or like you like let Andy Dalton get to week 9, now all of a sudden the storyline is they're just not very good, and let's see what Fields has.
Yes.
You know, against
Yeah.
what is a solid Vikings defense. So, you know, then I think to myself, we'll see, right? Like we will see. At the end of the day, like this is a division matchup, but I don't know what it's going to really mean. I don't think it's going to mean a whole lot.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
like would you be shocked if in the NFC North the Vikings with Jared Goff, or I mean the Lions with Jared Goff were like the second best team in that division? It wouldn't shock me. It'd be like,
no, it wouldn't.
like so like this
Yeah,
game
that
might not matter at all. Like realistically. Like
no. It might not. It'll matter for two fan bases at the very least. Um, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I will say this, Nick, Bills Bears preseason game that I
uh,
went to because I got free tickets. The only reason I would ever go is because of free tickets in the
obviously
100 section. And I will say this:
incredible.
my girlfriend was like, "Oh my god, I like this stadium's nice. Why would they want to move?" I'm like, "Any stadium's nice when you're sitting in the 100 section, okay?
That's the truth.
It's
That's
go
the
sit up
truth.
in the 400
That's the
section
truth. Let
and
me
see if
know.
you're still saying the same thing."
Yep.
You're probably not. But that being said, Andy Dalton did start that game, Nick,
Mm. Yeah.
and he was getting booed a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
A lot.
I'm sure.
And that being said, he did not have a very good game. And Justin Fields came in. I think he had an okay game. Or didn't do terribly much more than what Andy Dalton did. But I I don't really see Andy Dalton getting past like 3 weeks.
Yep. I think
And
yeah, I
and
agree.
I think that's how you handle that
I
situation the
agree.
right way. You give Andy Dalton 3 weeks to see what he can do, and if he can't, you pull the plug on that son of a gun, and you put Justin Fields in there. Because truth be told, actually, I'm not even gonna say it. No, I'll say it. I mean, they're not gonna pay attention to me anyways, but that's gonna give your team the best chance to win is putting Justin
Yep.
Fields on
Yep.
the field. I
Yep.
mean, he took a ginormous hit in that Bills game, got his helmet knocked off,
Yep.
seeing stars, just got back up, like no big deal.
Yep. I
Yeah.
think
So
the kid's what you want to go with, like at the end of well, and here's the thing, if you were a Bears fan, how am I gonna pitch it to you sitting at home watching the team that we
yeah,
let Mitch start from the get, basically? Like
yep,
basically we were
yep,
like, let's see. Like you sat
yep,
through all that, then they got Foles, and then they still like you sat through all of that, but now that you got Fields, it's like now all of a sudden we need to let Andy.
yeah.
I'm with you, man. I think the first time Andy Dalton goes 3-and-out this year, they'll be chanting for Fields. Like,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
then they
think
should be loud. And and the
the
biggest
quicker the
difference
Bears make
between
that move, the better.
yeah, and the big difference between Fields and Trubisky is, Fields, Ohio State guy. He's played on that big stage.
Yep.
Sold out. I mean, I don't. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky's had some game. Where did Mitchell Trubisky go to college?
North Carolina.
Like North Carolina. So not like not as big as a football school as Ohio State.
Yep.
Still a big, you know, a, you know, not going to take anything away from them and their football program, but that's not the
Not
staple of that
exactly. Yes.
university,
Yes.
you know. So I do think that helps Justin Fields be able to get into the game and be okay,
Of course.
playing at Ohio State on the. But that being said, let's move on over to the Vikings. Let's talk a little shop over there.
Mhm.
And have they really done anything this offseason? Any big acquisitions? Anything?
I think
You've heard the Vikings in the news?
not really. And I mean, I guess you don't usually. It's kind of like, unfortunately, like, kind of put the Vikings in the same category as a lot of these teams. You got to draft your way to it. Seattle,
Yeah,
Buffalo, like,
yeah,
yeah, at the end of the
and
day, that's what it is. Green Bay's like that, right?
yeah,
Not super splashy in free
uh,
agency.
yeah. I do think you got Kirk Cousins, you got Justin Jefferson, who's coming back for his second year
Of
in the
course.
league. He he is a guy that I think he's probably going to make some major strides. And if Kirk Cousins can put the ball on him, just put it on him.
Put it on. That's
He'll
what it is.
he'll uh, he'll probably be a breakout wide receiver in this league. And then you have Dalvin Cook, who was a top running back, in the league, and just a very physical runner. So I mean, the offense does have some good things going for him. I mean, you have Kirk Cousins back there, which I think if you asked a Vikings fan, they'd be a little suspect about him. But also at the same time, they're they're very excited about him because he's better than a lot of the other options at
Right, right,
quarterback.
right.
So I mean, he's still he's probably a top 20 quarterback, I would say,
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
He's
definitely,
like
definitely.
probably like right around there.
Yep.
And he's a guy that can get it done. And you know what? He had like one of the best like post game comments ever.
I mean, at the end of the
So
day, yeah, he's Kirk Cousins at the end of the day. I mean, it's
yeah, well,
he is
yeah,
who you
that's
think he
the
is.
that's the yeah, that's the thing. And then you look at that defense. Like they got that Anthony Barr guy still on the team. Um, Patrick Peterson.
No doubt.
Uh, but so they got some guys that are, you know, strong defensively. But I don't know. This game will be interesting because like the only real, I think, if you're looking at the division unbiasedly, or as unbiasedly as one of you or I can say, if you're looking at it unbiased, you're seeing the Packers return everyone that they had pretty much, right?
Yep.
I mean, pretty darn close. So you kind of look at them and like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're probably going to run their division. So now you're looking at this game between the Vikings and the Bears, and really the only playoff implication that it might have would be a wild card spot,
Yep.
you know, this late in the season. So, with that being said, I'm going to get a little bit prediction time here, Nick.
Okay.
Hmm. I do think I have the Bears winning this one. Hmm. 42 to like 37.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it's going to be up there.
This see, this might be the game that we disagree the most on.
Okay, let's hear it.
That's interesting. So I think the game's in Chicago, which is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. This is
Yep.
5 days before Christmas, so this is December 20th. You getting in that Christmas season? You and I get to watch a game in good old sweet home Chicago, right? I like that
Sweet
a lot.
home Chicago.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be like a good
Yes,
time. I'm excited about that one. So
correct.
we get around Christmas time. We watch this game in Chicago. Here's what I'm thinking. I think the weather is gonna suck. It's close to
Mm.
Christmas. It's in Chicago. Weather's gonna be awful. Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, I don't care who it is. Those three guys, that weather is impacting it, right? Both of these teams have very strong defenses. The Vikings have a really good run game. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I think everything gets slowed down in that weather. I think everything gets I think it's a bit of a defensive battle. I think both teams by this point in the season are I don't think they're battling each other for a wild card spot. I think that it's probably more like this is just we're gonna just play on this rivalry. We're around Christmas. People are busy that week. I think the NFL knows that. I think that's why this game is some
Mm.
good sized cities around Christmas time.
Yeah,
That Chicago audience will come through for them. But at the end
that
of the
have strong fan bases. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think they think this is going to have a ton of implications late
Mm.
in the year. I think this is I think it's a low scoring game.
Mm.
I think you're looking at 17-14
Ooh.
Vikings win.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I don't remember, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. People can be mad. I don't have a team of producers. I don't remember what I've said exactly for the cumulative scores of all these games that we've done on like the show
Yeah.
here, but I think this game is probably the most low scoring game of the
Monday Night
entire Monday
Football.
Night Football.
Monday
Yep,
Evening
yep,
Football.
yep. I think of
Um.
the entire Monday evening football slate, I think this is the lowest scoring total game. It has all the reasons I think it's low scoring. The weather might be shitty.
Mm.
Neither these teams have good defenses, but the offenses are a little suspect. They might both be out of it by this point in the year, so who even knows? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And I think the I think the big thing that you're leaving out. I don't know. I think you might have lived near the beach a little too long, Nicholas. You're a beach guy now. You're not a
yeah,
Chicago guy anymore. You don't know. You don't know, but don't worry. I am a Chicago guy, not a Chicago fan, sports fan.
uh,
That's for sure. But usually we don't have snow on Christmas. It's like so it we might have bad weather. I'm that point in the season, I'm not so concerned about the weather. I'm more concerned about the Chicagoland Park District being able to keep that field in good condition, because what I've heard is Kanye West. He said a couple days before Christmas he wants to have another Donda listening party at Soldier Field and really
tear
do a
that
lot of
field up.
modifications. Do a lot of modifications to the field during the season, because he thought, like before the season they might have too much
He
time
didn't
to
ruin
like
it
get that
enough.
field ready to go. Like so that would be like the big concern, and I think that's always the big concern when you're going into Soldier Field.
Hmm.
And I think by week 15, I think Justin Fields he's going to be playing for the Bears, and I think you're going to see some flashes from him. That's going to be like, as a Packers fan, you're going to hate it a little bit, but also you're going to enjoy it a little bit, because now you're going to have some good Bears Packers games upcoming.
Yeah, yeah.
That are really competitive, that make it much more enjoyable when you win those games instead of just beating them, like
Just, just,
coming back
yeah.
after your quarterback gets knocked out just before halftime, and then just coming,
Yeah,
just
they're
like
up by,
that type
yeah,
of stuff.
yeah. It's like
So that
three or four
that
touchdowns,
is,
and then
and I think,
yeah.
yeah, I think they have two solid running backs in David Montgomery and Dalvin Cook. So I think if the elements are bad, I think those guys can still produce heavily, and yeah, so that's why I'm going with the Bears there. But yeah, I with the exception of maybe a wild card spot, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think this has very much playoff
Yep,
implications.
yep. I agree. I think at the end of the day, the NFC North is not a very strong division, and so I think this is a chance. They probably want to showcase Fields on a primetime game, and I think this
Yeah.
is a cool opportunity to do that. And Kirk Cousins, like I think this is gonna be a fun game for you and me because it's like the Bears and like the Vikings, and like we can just I think it's gonna be a good time. But overall, you know, I think ultimately this is. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I
This is
can.
a Monday evening football game
Oh,
that
there you are. Yep.
you are going to want to tune into.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think so.
Yeah. So,
I think this is that type
yeah.
of game.
And yeah.
Sorry, here I'm
And
on
I
the move
think
there.
On the move.
We
Hey, look at that.
need the old old
But I will
Charger.
the old Charger. Yeah, see that's that producers, they can't just grab that charger for us when we
No,
need it. We got to
this is
rely on our
live,
pets to we got
live
to
on air.
rely on our pets to go run and grab the chargers. But I will say, yeah, so I think that's like I think that's probably like the not the first time, but that's probably the first time we've been so opposite on what we think is going to happen in a game, I believe.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's see if we can get back on the same page when we're talking about the Dolphins and the Saints, Week 16
Yep.
in New Orleans.
Oh.
So hopefully, obviously with everything you've seen happening
Oh
in New
yeah,
Orleans
for sure, for sure.
recently, hopefully everyone's doing great. But do the Dolphins just come swim up over there and just take care of business?
This is a weird.
Tua
So
Tagovailoa?
you know why I think this game is fun is I think this is actually a type of playoff implication game that might matter. I think a team like the Saints is more likely than like
Yes.
the Bears or the Vikings to be like in a wild card like race.
Yeah.
Um, especially in that division that they're in. I think the Dolphins are kind of in an interestingly similar spot. The Dolphins are not a bad team at all. I think it's tough when you have the Bills and Patriots in your division, though. But I think this could be
Yeah.
an interesting game. Ultimately, once again, though, I'll be real with you. It's around the holidays. I think this game is 2 days after Christmas. This is two large fan bases. You know,
Yeah.
2 days after Christmas when people aren't paying a ton of attention. I think it's similar to the game before. I think these teams are a little better than the Bears and Vikings, but I think very similar. Um, but in a dome. And so I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think this game mirrors a lot of
Yep.
the same things as that Bears game, that Bears and Vikings game. I think it is similar in a lot of ways. However, I think it'll probably be more high scoring actually. I think this is going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
I think it's a weird game to play 2 days after Christmas. It's a weird game. Like,
Yeah. I'm I'm just ready to see my man
oh,
Jameis
get him,
there. I'm
get
excited
him.
to see what he can do. I feel like, being behind Drew Brees for a year or two, or maybe just probably showed him a lot of stuff in Tampa.
Yep, yep,
I feel like they gave him a crash course at the highest level,
yep.
and I think we're going to see good old Winston, doing some great things on the field this time of year, especially throwing to a guy like Michael Thomas. Um, it's and you have Alvin Kamara too, so probably the most balanced team that Jameis Winston has been on,
Yep.
as far as like a wide receiver to like running back and like having actual weapons to go. So, and then obviously you got you know, the
Okay,
trickster and Taysom Hill.
Mr. Tricky.
So so it'll be interesting to see. But when you're looking over at the Dolphins, though, I mean,
They are.
the Dolphins,
I agree.
they're just like not very star-studded when you're looking at the depth chart. Devontae Parker, um, Will Fuller, Mike Gesicki is the tight end there. It's not
Of
super
course.
like
Tua
you know.
Taga.
Yeah,
What do you
I
like to
think
call him, Scott?
Tagovailoa and so I think you're looking at the defensive side. You got Xavier Howard, who
Yep.
obviously he's a
Don't.
monster. Went through his issues with the Dolphins of hey, you got to pay me or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Got that taken care of, and now he's ready to rock. So I think when you have a guy like that who can take a threat away like Michael Thomas, I think you think we're going to be more high scoring in this one. I think we're probably going to be more in the middle of the road. I think you see like a 27-21 type of score
Oh
here,
yeah,
and I do think it would be the Saints that is
yeah,
going to win this game.
yeah. I think this is once again not a financial advisor. I've said this before.
Yes, thank you.
However, if you were, I'm not a financial advisor, but I think 2 days after Christmas, that's a tough week to travel. That's a very difficult week to travel, especially if you were already probably not going to be the favorite. And
Yeah,
The Miami Dolphins, I think, are unlikely to be a favorite especially a road favorite 2 days after Christmas. And I think the Saints win this one as well. I think this is an interesting betting game because realistically speaking, if people are healthy, you got to think a couple days after Christmas, Saints got it, right? Saints in the bag, they're at
yep,
home, boom, boom, boom. But you also might not get great odds unless Miami's playing well. And that's almost what I think
yep,
you want. I think if you're a person that likes to wager a little bit, I think you want Miami to be playing well coming into this game because
yes,
this seems like a very solid Saints win just based on everything. But I think the better Miami is, the closer that spread is going to get. But this will be a game that I would imagine I will be betting the Saints. I think the Saints win as well. You said 27-21, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm thinking more 30-24. And I guess that's not
Okay, yeah,
crazy high scoring, but I think that's where we're at. 30-24,
yeah, for sure.
Saints win.
No, it's definitely scoring.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, bro, do you see where that is right there? That's where Jake Paul just beat Tyron Woodley in a fight.
It's true. It's the
Yeah, in
truth.
Cleveland.
It's the truth.
Which takes us right into week 17. We're moving right
Pretty
along.
exciting.
Nick, I'm sorry, but we are at the end of the
It
season.
is.
The Cleveland Pittsburgh Steelers is going to wrap up our Monday evening festivities,
Yep.
but
Yep. You know what's
it'll it'll be a great season.
It will be. It'll be interesting to come to that game. You and I will have
Yeah,
embarked on this journey for a little while, and like, I think that's gonna be cool, man. I think that's gonna be pretty awesome. Like,
yeah,
by the time we get to this week, I think it'll be a bit of like a cool thing for you and I, a milestone perhaps.
yes.
But I do think overall, um, by the time you get to this type of game, it's a good division matchup. Um, Though, and you know what? That division's a little bit up for grabs, right? So this could be a very, very
Mm-hmm.
important game. These teams have a very interesting history on primetime
Yeah,
football
oh,
in the
yeah, they
last few years.
do.
In a lot of
Oh,
like for a long
yeah.
time, but especially in the last few years. So I think
Uh,
by that point in the season, you just got to hope everyone's healthy. Both these teams are playing the way that they can because this could be an incredible way to end Monday Night like football. I think it's interesting because I would be curious to look back over the last, 5 to 10 years and see how many Week 17 matchups on Monday Night Football have become like or have mattered, like have really like
oh,
this is the last game of
yeah.
the season every year.
It
Like how many of them have been like pivotal games? This could be one of them. This could absolutely be one of them. You know,
It really could,
that's
because you got to imagine Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to come out, after eating healthy,
yep.
eating clean, changing his attitude on life. Essentially,
Yeah,
he's going to come out. He's probably going to get the Steelers off to like a 6-1 start for sure. Like that's just
yeah.
it's how he does it. I don't know how he does it, but he somehow manages to.
It's true.
Like Michael Scott, somehow I manage.
It's
But then I think we're going to see Ben Roethlisberger's age and the amount of cheeseburgers he's eaten all over the years and
yeah.
Philly cheesesteaks and all those things. I think those are going to start to take effect, even though he has eaten healthier. So he says. Um, and then think we see either like a Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, whoever is one of those guys come in and then stumble a little bit. But wouldn't it be interesting to see Mason Rudolph starting that game, week
There you
17,
go.
against Miles Garrett? Bro, that would be wild.
It would be wild. It would. And it honestly doesn't feel like far from reality, like in the way the world is nowadays. I think,
And I'm looking at the Steelers depth chart right now, and it doesn't say unofficial depth chart, so I can only take this as gospel. Steelers.com, that's my reference. But they do have Mason Rudolph listed as the second string quarterback ahead of Dwayne
oh,
Haskins,
Dewey.
which that kind of surprised me a little bit, but maybe Mason Rudolph is just a little better than Dwayne Haskins right now at this point in his career.
Yep.
But I find it, I don't know, I find it kind of hard to think if Ben Roethlisberger did go down, they would go with Mason Rudolph over Dwayne Haskins.
Yep.
I just think he's more of a playmaker and gives your team a better chance. But
I agree.
I do like this Pittsburgh Steelers team. You got a tight end. You got Eric Ebron, who
Yep.
he is one of my favorite tight ends in fantasy. But he's kind of like a double-edged sword because sometimes he'll go off, but sometimes he'll get you really mad.
Yes.
But
Yes, he will.
he's a guy that's balling out, and I think if he gets that perfect fit of a team, and I think he was with the Steelers last year, so one more year in that system to get it down. I think you could maybe have him potentially adding an extra threat at the tight end position because you also have Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster and
Yep.
the Juju Bees. So it's that offense is pretty and Najee Harris, who is a star, a future star potentially at the running back position. And I will say the Steelers don't really miss on running backs, too often. So I think they got a guy in Najee Harris. But I mean, if we're looking over at what the Browns have packing, Nick, it's that Browns team is good.
They are. They
They're
are.
very good.
I mean, there could be some separation by this point in the season between these two teams. The
Oh,
Browns
for
could be
sure.
playing really well. Steelers could be struggling. Uh,
Yes.
because we're at the end of the season. However, I mean, dude, in that division, you don't know about the Ravens, though Dobbins being out hurts them.
Yeah.
So then I find myself thinking, are the Steelers and Browns battling it out at this point in the year still for that division? And if they are, that has playoff implications. So
Yes.
I don't know, man. These are two solid teams. It's a potentially a very fun matchup for the last week of Monday Night Football, though. There's also some room for it to not be that great, truthfully. Like
Yeah. Well,
these are not franchises that have been incredibly trustworthy over the last like 8 seasons. Like this is like,
true.
maybe the last like 5 years. Like this is like you don't exactly know what you're gonna get. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, this is a phenomenal game. That Browns team, the Browns team could be incredible this year. I mean, we've covered them before, I think, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
that's a solid team as well. I think at the end of
Yeah.
the day, this is another one. I think that weather comes into play, and I think you start both teams solid run games, defensive battle.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. If I'm being honest, this feels like one of those late season games the Steelers could like absolutely steal. No pun intended.
I, I think I covered the Browns, but
Oh,
we
the
did cover.
Steelers. That's right. That's right.
Yep. So but man, this Browns team: Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, OBJ, Jarvis Landry. Like that receiving core right there. That's top tier.
Yep.
And your 1-2 punch at running back is phenomenal. Um, um, and then the defense: Miles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney. That's tough. Two guys coming off the end.
No doubt.
Potentially grabbing your face mask, ripping it off, swinging their helmet at you.
Trying to
It's
beat
like
you to death.
that would. Those guys are. you know, they're top at their position. So the Browns, to me, I don't know if when we get to week 17, like you said, it very well could have playoff implications, but I think the Browns maybe run away with their division. I think they might have it locked up a little bit by
Yeah,
this time of the year.
I agree.
You know,
Yep.
I think if the only implications maybe be in a seed, in like a seeding thing.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if it's going to have major playoff implications, but it definitely can, which is I think why the NFL slotted these two teams to wrap up the year,
Yep.
especially like you said, Nick, with the history that they've had in the past several years. It definitely makes for some entertaining Monday evening football. But I will say this game late in the year, I go 28 to 17 Cleveland Browns. Book it.
Uh,
Send it to your favorite sports book. It could be Barstool, FanDuel, DraftKings, or maybe even one of those smaller guys.
Yahoo. I think
Yeah.
if yep. I think I think at the end of the day you might be shocked, but here's what I'm going with. Final week of the season,
All
I
right.
agree with you. Playoff implications, there won't be any. The Browns will be the favorite going into this
Okay.
game. This game's being played in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh might not even be a playoff team at this point. However, I think it might not even matter for the playoffs. I actually think Pittsburgh pulls off an upset at home. I think they
Okay.
probably come into this game as like 3-point home underdogs, and I think they win 24-17. I think they squeak one
Okay.
in. I think they squeak
Yeah.
one in at the end of the year, get an upset last week of the season, and because it could have some playoff implications that we're not thinking of. Like Browns could be locked in at the third seed. No matter
Yeah.
what
Yep.
happens, they're the third. And then all this, or like no matter what happens, they're the fourth, something like that. And the Steelers are fighting for seven.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
And I can see something like along those lines playing out. I think it's an interesting matchup. Um, I think the NFL generally knows what they're doing, and I think
Yes.
to put that final week of the regular season could matter. I think it could matter a
Yep.
lot.
You know what they say? All's fair in love and football.
That's what it is, dude. That's the whole season, man. How do you feel about it? I
Hey.
feel like we did a good job. I feel like
No, I
we.
do. I do feel like we did a good job. I feel like we have some great predictions in there as these games start rolling through. We're going to be looking back at the old footage, and you guys at home are just going to be amazed. You're like, man, They were saying this in the middle of summer. I should have. I
Spot
should have
on.
listened to this guy's bet. I would have made a ton of money. He did not miss this year. But that being said, feel free to fade us. You know, because our bets may
Big
not come to
favors.
fruition. But I think I'm excited, Nick. I
Me
think
too.
we are, we got fans back. I think we're geared up for probably one of the best football seasons that we've seen, just
Absolutely.
with everything kind of coming together. And I think we're just the cherry on top of what this
Absolutely.
football season is really going to entail, to be honest with you.
Dude, I can't wait. It's gonna be a fun one, man. I'm looking forward to it. I think some of these are gonna be pretty awesome games, and and at the end of the day, anyone that's watching this and sees this, like, come rock with us this year. We'll play some bets. We'll
Yeah,
keep it.
for
We'll have a
sure.
good time. It's gonna be a fun season. But
Yeah, we'll be doing giveaways. We'll be doing like everything. But also, I think the most important thing, guys, when you're watching Monday evening football, turn your TV on, mute that bad boy, because we don't want to watch those announcers anyways. Listen to us. We're going to have a great time, all of us together. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking shit. We're going to be talking stats. We're going to be talking a little bit of everything. And it's going to
yep,
be relaxed. We're going to be like right on the couch with you, and we're just like all hanging out, having a great time. But we look forward to broadcasting some of these games for you, fan casting them. And Nick, you got anything for the people at home?
No, I think let's get after it this year, man. It's a good time to be alive.
Hey,
9 days till football.
let's go.
Let's have a good time.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, get vaccinated. All right, I just had to say it. Sorry, I was paid to say it by the FDA.
Get it. Get that shot, man.
Sponsorships,
You'll
baby.
be all right.
Sponsorships.
You'll be all right. Nothing will
Yeah,
happen, I promise.
you will.
You'll be the first to know if it
Most
does.
likely.
My guy. Guys, we'll be back next week to cover all the teams that didn't make Monday Night Football. They're not very good teams, so it'll be fun. And then after
Yeah,
that, 2 weeks away. So until then,
we're rocking.
adios.
Peace out.